Trask. I'm National Director over at ARC Facilities, and what we're going to talk about today is preventative and deferred maintenance reality check. What we're really going to talk about is how accurate is your equipment database, and what are you doing to fix that? And I'm going to share some of the things that I've heard from other peers in the industry, but everybody's got this challenge, is I swap out equipment, it's always moving, and how do you maintain that? How do you know what's really in the field versus what's in my database? Okay, but what we're going to talk about is, again, how accurate is your database? You've got stuff all over the place. This is actually a roof of a hospital that I was just in, and I asked the guy, 3 of the units that are on this roof were switched out in the last 6 months. First question I asked him is, where the hell did you find the units? Trying to find equipment is tough right now, but none of this was accurate in his database. They'd swapped out all kinds of stuff. Well, the challenge is it starts here. This is what they've traditionally got in their database. Look at all those missing holes. Well, the challenge is the folks who know how to fill that out or know the different things to fill out in there to make it look like this are leaving. They're retiring. They're taking other jobs, okay? But your buildings are constantly changing too. Renovations happen all the time. Well, every time you do a renovation, something moves. It could be a shutoff, it could be a piece of mechanical equipment. But each one of these plan sets here represents a change to your building, okay? Every one of those means something moved in your building, or you've added something into your building. Well, do you know where it all is? So if I said to you, where's AHU 4? Does one guy on your team know where it is, or does everybody know? If everybody doesn't know, why not? Stuff moves, stuff's all over, but you've got stuff all over the place. So you've got stuff on a roof, stuff in storage closets, you've got it in janitorial closets, you've got it in a basement, in a mechanical room. A lot of times I'll get a database from folks and it'll say I've got 10 pieces of equipment in a mechanical room, and I'll look around, before I even get 10 feet in the door, I count 10. I'm not even halfway into the building yet, or into the room yet. But also, guys are climbing up and down on roofs. They're going up, popping roof hatches and going up there trying to find stuff. What belt size? What other parts do I need? And then they climb back down that ladder. But again, remember all those pieces of equipment on the roof? Stuff breaks all the time too. But the challenge is you've also probably got some stuff that looks like that. Old stuff. Old stuff that's on its last legs. I always tell people that's the stuff that's held together by duct tape and baling wire. All right, but it's running. A lot of folks are running equipment to end of life too. So a lot of stuff that was traditionally handled with your preventative maintenance, because I'm short-staffed with the labor shortage right now it's getting pushed into deferred maintenance. A guy told me the other day, he said, you know what deferred maintenance means, right? I said, yeah, and he interrupted me right in the middle. He said, no, it means it's not going to get done. That means you're running it until it dies. But the challenge is the team's always on the move. So I call these guys here, a lot of the ones that are carrying the little spiral notebook in their shirt pocket. That's where they write everything down, okay? That doesn't get into that database that I showed earlier. That's all those missing holes, all right? But they're also up on a roof or they're running around, and how many times they get distracted when they're working on something, they get 15 calls before they can even get back to document what they already just worked on. It's just a chain reaction. But this is the other underlying problem. Usually teams, you've only got a handful of folks that know where everything is, right? That's a huge problem. But imagine everybody, including the new person who just started, knows where everything is day one. First day. They get handed access to being able to access where everything is located. You may have some systems that do some of that today, but are you maximizing that so that everybody knows where everything is? But here's what we usually see. Everybody's got a person on their team named Carl, Bob, John, Betty, whatever, that knows where everything is. So you call him to find the unit. You call him when something breaks in the middle of the night. You call him when you're trying to figure out what change happened in the southeast corner of your building because something's going sideways. Carl's usually the guy that takes cruises on vacations because his cell phone doesn't work on a cruise ship. Think about that. You're relying on 1 or 2 or 3 people on your team. Those are single points of failure. Think about that. They're not always there. And imagine if he walks into your office and sits down across from you and says, I'm retiring at the end of the year. It's usually that deer in the headlights look. What do? How do you capture all that institutional knowledge before that person walks out the door? Well, roughly on average, these are industry stats, 30% of your team is in the retirement window. Think about all that institutional knowledge that's in those folks' heads. One guy that I spoke to, he said 40% of my team is in the retirement window of 2 years. But that represents 80% of his institutional knowledge. Get your head around that. But everybody is losing people, okay? Well, what that means is they are the people who also know they were there to fix the thing. They were there, the ones that put the duct tape on that unit to make it keep running, all right? But what about the new person? What I'm trying to really stress to you here is everybody on your team should be on the same page. The times when the handful of people will keep their cards close to their vest and it's job security, those days are gone. Those are the guys on your team that are retiring. Those are the guys that know where everything is that's going to take that when they walk out that door. What are you doing to capture that stuff before they leave? But again, it's also getting worse now because you're not just losing people to retirement that know where all that stuff is. You're losing people to jobs up the street that are paying $5-6 more an hour. I talked to a guy yesterday. He said he lost his lead electrician and his lead plumber. On average, both of them are making $10 more an hour. He said even if I met him in the middle, I wasn't in the ballpark. That information's walking out the door with them. But those are also the folks that know where everything is. So this right here, this picture, is a hospital in Atlanta. That happened in 45 minutes. Remember that whole cruise story I said? The guy takes a cruise because his phone won't ring? He was on a cruise. That was 45 minutes. They were shut down for 4.5 months. That's the ORs. $35,000 a day in lost revenue just from the ORs, each OR. But also, all of that deferred or that preventative maintenance again is getting shoved into that deferred category, but now you're not able to do as much stuff because you're on a lean and mean team. Most teams that I hear are about 80%, 20% open positions. That's crazy. So now you're getting a bunch of OT. You're spending months trying to find people and train them up. So how do you bridge that gap? Well, start here. Get all your paper, get rid of it. Get it digital. Show of hands, who's got one of these? Stupid question. Okay? You should be able to access everything for your building right here. Your team's on a roof, this is in their pocket. Your team's in a mechanical room or in a basement, this is in their pocket. Pull their phone out of their pocket to access stuff to do their job. Not go dig, not go try to find a manual, not try to radio Carl, okay, to try and track him down. But then this is the other problem. Even if you scan stuff in, it's no different. Now I got to dig through 300-page PDFs trying to find something. And then I realized none of those were even the building I was looking for because they're not even organized. So start documenting stuff. Get it out of those people's heads today. Every day you wait is one day closer to that person retiring. Okay? Imagine if you had all your stuff, again, on your phone. Equipment locations, all your plan sets, all of your shutoffs, all of your emergency equipment, all of that stuff on your phone. Okay? And let's take a look at what that could look like. Imagine all your drawings here, right? Click on an app. Everybody's got apps on their phone. Click on an app. Click on the building you want to find the information on. Okay? Oh, that's great. Let's go back here. We had a connection issue earlier with this. Yeah, again. Click here. Click the building you're interested in seeing. Okay. Imagine being able to access all of your drawings and having them all mapped out, showing what floor, what area of the building they touched, okay? Same thing with all your mechanical equipment. Imagine walking up to a piece of mechanical equipment, scanning a QR code on a machine, and having it pull up all the information for that device, all of it. O&Ms, maintenance history, all of your videos on the unit showing how you fix something with a video, links out to YouTube, whatever. but access to that information, shutoffs, every shutoff, gas, water, power, med gas, all mapped out. My team can access it in the field on their phone, wherever you're at, okay? Again, click on a shutoff, and even finding the isolation valves that are up in the ceiling tiles. Everything mapped out. Photos, videos, all of that information all in one spot, all on my phone, wherever I'm at, okay? Everybody on your team has a smartphone. The days of saying that, Bob's not tech savvy or George isn't tech savvy, I guarantee you they've scanned a QR code in a restaurant to get a menu. You probably did it here, all right? Everybody is tech savvy today. But where you got to start, though, is transitioning, getting that information captured so that the new people, everybody on your team should be looking at the same stuff, all right? Go from months and months of training. I've heard training schedules are 6 months to 18 months on average. A guy told me the other day, he said they don't turn somebody loose on their own until they've gone through a full 12-month cycle so they can see all the big stuff that happens annually. That means you're paying two people to do the same job while they're shadowing. All right? Instant access to the information. New team members have access to everything too. Day one. You give them access as part of their onboarding process. Training happens that day. It's that fast. But you're using some of this stuff today. You've got some stuff. I guarantee you've all got a work order system. Okay? Look at that and see, what will it do? What won't it do? Fill in the gaps. Okay? There's nothing wrong with having multiple different types of technology today. You guys are on your computer, you're flipping between different programs. You're doing the same thing on your phone. I guarantee you, if you pull your phone out, you've got 2 or 3 apps open: Facebook, Twitter, map apps, whatever. Probably your key access to even check into a hotel in a lot of cases. You just toggle between them, all right? But identify what you can and can't do in those different systems, and don't do duplicate work for sure. Also, proactively, again, start capturing that stuff. Scan and digitize all that. Get rid of all your paper. Come to my booth 406 and I'll show you just a nightmare. Every person that walks by, we have piles of plans there, piles of blueprints. And I can't tell you, every person that walks by there says that looks like my office or my plan room. Everybody's got one of those. Might have a closet, or you might have 2 rooms full, doesn't matter. Also, store all that information in one spot so you got access to it. Choose a platform that's user-friendly. If you get nothing else out of this, hear me. If it's not easy, your team will not use it, period. If your work order system is a pain in their butt, identify what will make their life easier. Work with your work order system. Work with your asset management system. We've got a software too, I can show you some stuff, but we fill in gaps, all right? But also, go from spending hours looking for stuff to do their job. Remember, going up and down a ladder, going into a plan room, going back out in the field, trying to jump in a golf cart, run across the campus, whatever. They're spending a lot of time looking for stuff. And it's not just flipping through a manual or flipping through a plan set. They're driving back and forth. They're running back and forth. And how many times do they get pulled away while they're just en route to get there? But available on mobile devices. Remember, I said, who's got a smartphone? Every person raise their hand. If you can't access all of what I just showed you on your phone, why not? Why not? Technology is available today to do that, all right? So again, start now. Every day that you wait is one day closer to you losing those people who know where that stuff is. Every day that you wait is an additional shadow day that person has to spend. A lot of the training that you guys do with your team comes down to they're just trying to find stuff. You know, most offices, the majority of your calls are water or heat, hot, cold, okay? If they don't know where the equipment is to go fix that thing, whatever that thing is, that's lost time, which means less work orders that they can complete, less PMs that they can do. Again, it's all about time. So again, path forward is take custody of your information. It's your stuff. People come and go. They leave. So next person up on your team should be able to access that. Combination of retiring workforces and talent shortages, it's a snowball, okay? Also, plan strategically. again, remember, identify what your systems you do have today, what they do really well, do that, increase that. But then identify what you can fill in some of those gaps and look at solutions to fix that. Again, not duplicate work, but fix those holes that you've got in your systems. So this is my contact information. I'm at booth 406. Anybody has any questions, absolutely come to the booth. I'm happy to help. Awesome. Thanks, guys.